Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's your man, Big B, along with Tim Fitzgerald. Welcome back to the Big 12 Insiders. Appreciate everybody being in here. Yes, it is Tuesday. Today is the day of the power rankings. We had some movement, ladies and gentlemen. There's absolutely some movement. I like this week's power rankings. I like them every week. But we got some new faces near the top, Fitz. We got some new faces that have crept their way up towards the top of this thing. So I'm excited to reveal it to everybody. More importantly, I'm excited to see what people have to say about it. But there was definitely some movement this week, Fitz.
I agree. And something cool's happened at the top that I really think is pretty amazing. We'll note that when it comes around. I hope everyone likes spaghetti with chili. I love doing these. This is going to be a blast. But you know how once in a while, like Saturn, Jupiter, and something will get all aligned? Mm-hmm. That's the way I feel about your rankings and the Big 12 publisher rankings, which we use as a comparison. Pretty close. Not fully aligned, but pretty close.
Absolutely. Should be a lot of fun. Before we get started, though, people, remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in those comment sections. Tell us what you do and don't like, and always hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. Let's get into this. First off, number 16, Oklahoma State. I'll be quite frank with you. I don't anticipate this changing all year long. They just don't have the horses. I don't even know that we have to spend a whole lot of time on it, Fitz. They're just not a good football program, much less a football team. It's not a good program right now. They need a complete reset.
They do. They really do. And I feel badly for Oklahoma State fans. They're pretty good fans. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to believe this wasn't somewhat intentional because this team's really bad. And there's no way a self-respecting coach can put together this roster and think he can win a game in this conference. I'm sorry. I'm getting to think there was some intent here. I'm not making an accusation. This is just my opinion. You're either really, really bad at your job or you're really good at not doing your job.
Yeah, they needed to reset. And the problem is that they needed to reset last year when they basically reset everything but the head coach. Well, why not just do that too? Yeah. Then 2 games in or 3 games in, whatever it was, then you decide to. That's just bad management in my opinion. But
kind of feel like Mike Gundy salted the lands on his way out of town.
Yeah, ugly. At number 15, West Virginia. It's starting to come to fruition that West Virginia just doesn't have the talent this year. The one thing I'll say about West Virginia, Fitz, they're fighting. Mm-hmm. You know, they're trying. But again, it's one of those situations. Look, they did the reset. You know, West Virginia said, we need a reset here. So they did it. And now sometimes you got to go through those growing pains. They're going through it. Give him a couple years. He'll get the roster that he wants. And I think West Virginia will be fine. Although I didn't necessarily agree with bringing Rich Rod back. He seems to be a humble man, understanding what he gave up the first time he left. So I think it's going to work out great. But as of today, they're just not talented enough to compete at a high level in this conference yet.
I trust him. I think he's going to get it going. I sometimes is leery of an immediate oomph, you know, when you hire a new coach. I kind of think there's a little smoke and mirrors involved. But look at Kenny Dillingham. He had a year to get his feet under himself at Arizona State, and boom. I don't know if Rich Rod will do something that dramatic. There's certainly different coaches of different generations, but I feel like he's going to get them going because more than anything, I think he has a pride in West Virginia football that he didn't have at other schools, that this is his place. And I think he's bought in.
Yep, absolutely. Number 14, I've got Colorado. You look at Colorado, the rest of their schedule, it may be tough for them to win another game. Look, they fought against TCU. There's no doubt that they're still playing hard, but I just don't think they're good. And that's the difference. They're just not good. I mean, you got to be able to finish games. They couldn't finish that game. They had an opportunity and they let it slip through their fingers. Not that, and I don't even think TCU played well. I really don't. I thought that was TCU's C game that they played against Colorado, still smarting off that loss at Arizona State from the week before. But we'll see a little bit more if TCU's actually good or if this is what they are. I think they're actually pretty good. That was a bad game, but Colorado, yeah, they got issues at quarterback. Coach Prime, he's got physical issues. I said it last year. I thought that he would quit because of his health, and now I'm basically at the point. Come on, man. Just this is just football. It's just football. You get body parts cut off, and you're getting internal organs cut out. I've heard all these reports that altitude is not good for blood clots. I don't know whether that's right or wrong. I know there's going to be some trolls in here that say, well, he just can't coach and, they're just not good. First of all, their team isn't good. I'll give you credit for that. Yeah. But don't tell me about a man's physical, he's struggling physically.
Yeah.
That's a reason to quit coaching, regardless of what we think or not. Literally, he had an organ cut out of his body. And you're thinking, oh, you know what? Hey, just cut my bladder out so I can quit coaching. That's my excuse. Come on, people. Are we that stupid? Either way, Colorado's not a great football team at number 14.
I think pride is keeping him in the game.
Maybe.
He doesn't want to admit that he wasn't good at it, but Prime is someone who's gone through a lot too. Sometimes you need to step back. I pulled off the road and leaving the house very much for a few years as I kind of got reset. He needs to get reset, and maybe this is just his new normal.
Right.
But, man, enjoy the life that you have. Don't put you through this kind of stress. Put yourself through that and, hand it off. I think they can probably find someone that's already associated with the program. Maybe they want to do another reset. I personally think what he's doing will work. I just don't think he's able to be fully invested because of his other battles.
Yeah.
And I'll admit this. I think he was more invested with his sons on the team. Who wouldn't be?
Sure.
But now between that and this, what he's going through is hard to overcome as physically and as a man, to walk around in, undergarments every day. I do it. I know. And it can mess you up and you just got to acclimate. I hope for his health he steps away. And that's not an excuse, folks. That's a reality. No. You try to go through the shit he's gone through and keep doing your job at 100%, a job that's high pressure and very demanding, you wouldn't be able to. What he's done so far is remarkable.
Right. And again, that's not excusing that the team's not very good either, Fitz, because they're not. They're not very good. But if that's not an excuse for his health either. That him, if he were to quit and step away, it's because maybe it is because they're not good and he's never really failed at anything professionally before. But and like you said, pride is keeping him there. But sometimes, hey man, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So at number 13, UCF. I thought UCF actually played a better game against Kansas than they did against Kansas State. They were in that game. It was basically they committed a turnover, Fitz, and they lost. It was just that simple. They committed one turnover, and they gave the ball up, and Kansas cashed in. I thought it was just a good football game, but UCF, I think, is going to be in more games than what people give them credit for at home.
Yeah.
So the more times they get opportunities to beat somebody at home, I think they're going to be in a lot more closer games at home. But again, kind of the West Virginia thing. They're just getting started. They got a little bit of talent there. They got more talent than West Virginia, but we'll see the remaining of the year. But at 13, I got UCF.
They got to get healthy at quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they had a 3-way battle in camp, but they're down to one dude.
Yeah.
And he plays his off, and he's going to get hurt doing that. So they got to get healthy at quarterback. But I can tell there's progress made by the Knights under Scott Frost. It's been pretty cool to watch.
Yep.
But I want to say this. I was in a hotel room in Dallas, Texas on Saturday night, and I watched the University of Kansas defense stand up twice,
They did.
and end drives that needed to end in a touchdown for UCF. The KU defense won that game. And I don't care what they did earlier in the game. That's got to help their confidence and self-belief that they stood up and did that. And I think also Jalen Daniels said, oh, that's what a turnover does to a team, because it just derailed UCF. And that's what he's been doing. And he didn't do, at least in a dramatic fashion this time. When Kansas does little switches, limit turnovers, defensive line holds up its end of the bargain, that's a pretty good football team.
Right. So at number 12, we got Kansas State. I said it. Kansas State gave a game away on Saturday against Baylor. You're up 14 points in the fourth quarter. That's a game you got to salt away. And I'll say this, and I've been saying it, and if anybody ever asks me, I'll say it again. Kansas State football players did everything they could to win the game, and their coaches let them down in this one. Their coaches gave this one away, which is disheartening, because as much as Kansas State fans, media members, myself have been just crushing the players for not being good enough, when you are good enough and then your coach is getting away, that's a problem for me. That is a big, big problem for me. It smells of we need some wholesale changes. Maybe not the head coach, but we need changes. It's not going to happen this year. Shouldn't necessarily happen this year. But there got to be some changes at Kansas State. With the product they're putting out there, it's just not good enough right now, Fitz.
By this year, you mean in season?
In season, yes, that's correct.
You look back at the previous K-State losses, and it was a group effort. It really was. The players weren't up to task. The coaches weren't up to task. But most notably, the players didn't look invested.
Right.
They look invested now, brother. They're not perfect. No, they're making mistakes. They miss tackles, they miss blocks, they throw interceptions, but they did enough to win that game. And you're right. The coaches were the ones that failed them. No matter what their pride might tell them, no, it wasn't us. No, we managed everything just fine. No, you got it wrong. And it doesn't trouble me that they got it wrong. It troubles me that they won't see that they got it wrong. That means you're not going to fix it. You're going to go do it again because you think you're right. You've convinced yourself you're right. I'm really troubled by that. This is not a great K-State team, but that win would have been notable for them on the road. And to watch coaches, call plays that shouldn't be called at those times of the game, to totally ignore the fact that you can milk the clock and probably get out of there with a win when you're up 2 touchdowns, particularly if you can convert and make it a 3-score game. To watch them just like, okay, this is good enough. Let's just wait. Let's hope. Nope, you failed your guys. Own it, move on, and play this weekend.
Exactly. They refuse to do that, and it's disheartening to say the least. Yep. It's just disheartening. At number 11, I got KU. Look, I said it. KU's defense, or you said it. KU's defense stood up. I'd pounded on them because their defense had given, anytime they played somebody with a pulse, they'd given up 600 yards. They didn't do that against UCF. I don't know how much of a pulse UCF has, but they've got something of one. And like you mentioned, KU's defense stood up when they had to stand up and shut down 2 UCF drives to basically win the football game. Okay, that's positive. Now let's get everything else going on top of that. I still don't think that this Kansas football team is a bad football team. And again, here's another team, Fitz, 2 losses, but everything that KU wants to accomplish is still out in front of them. It's not like, oh, okay, well, no. And now, don't get me wrong, the road is tough. Let's not kid ourselves. The road is tough, but they still have the opportunity to get to where they're trying to go. They just have to be more consistent. You play more games like this. And again, I know UCF isn't the greatest opponent, but you can build on it. Yeah. You can build on it. But got them at 11 still this week.
Yep. We're headed to a showdown here in a few weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, 3 Saturdays from now between KU and K-State. They're very comparable teams as we sit right here. But Kansas is clearly proven more because you can look at the record.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first 6, we got the first 6 there. We are right on except for 11. Publishers have Houston at 11. I've got Kansas at 11. Other than that, we are exactly the same across the board. And it's kind of what we talked about last week. The haves and the have-nots are starting to separate them. It's becoming easier to make the bottom of the list. Now, when you start getting towards the middle here, a little bit difficult. It can be a little difficult. So let's get into that.
Well, I'll let you guess what the next slots are filled with because the similarities continue.
At 10, I've got Houston. Look, the separation that Texas Tech showed as far as talent and ability versus Houston was like a high school varsity team that's the number one ranked team in the state versus the B team freshman team. It was night and day difference. They did exactly what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it. They're just that much better. But look, Houston's going to win some games, though. They've got an opportunity. I think 7 wins is within their grasp. And I think anything less than that, I'll be honest, would be a failure. Just going to a bowl game and winning 6 games, I think Houston's better than that. They're just not on Tech's level. But you can say that about 95% of the conference isn't on Tech's level. But as of now, I got Houston at 10. Wasn't a good game Saturday, but they'll bounce back.
You know, they invested a lot in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Fritz had that one circled, knew it's entirely possible we can win this game at home. It was hardly a home game. There was a ton of Tech fans there.
Yeah.
Credit to them. And that's going to be an ongoing problem for Houston. Until he really gets it rolling, they're not going to have the fans. It's going to be a bandwagon crowd at that school. It just will be. And I think Houston is much better than they were. Much better. But I think Texas Tech is elite.
Yeah.
I don't think the nation's caught on yet. I think the nation is being lazy and said, oh, there's no one else in the Big 12. I think a lot of Big 12 schools are very similar to what Big 12 schools have been. Tech is not.
Yep.
Tech is got that other thing. And whatever that other thing is up to you. But you can tell they have it. So, yeah, Houston, good try. Now refocus and don't let this one pile up on you.
Absolutely. At number 9, I got Arizona. That was a good win that they had. Good bounce back win for Arizona. The Arizona, again, is so much better this year than what they were last year. It's not even, I mean, it's night and day different. Number 1, it looks like the head coach gives a damn, which last year, about midseason, didn't look like he did. So, but a couple of changes. They're a different football team, and they play defense. You know, and if their offense, I know they scored a bunch of points this past week, but consider who they were playing. But they play defense, and they did it against Iowa State. They played some pretty good defense. So I think Arizona might be able to upset somebody. I don't know who. I got to really dig in and look at who the rest of the teams that they play, but they may be able to upset somebody because, again, the formula for upsets, it's always the same, Fitz. You play good defense, you play good special teams, and you make enough plays on offense. It might only be 2, but if you make 2 plays on offense, you can upset somebody. So they've got the formula. It's just a matter of can they keep it together. But I've got them at 9 this week, and they may be on the rise. We'll see about Arizona.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't looked at their upcoming schedule. If they've got opportunities to win, I think they're going to win. And you're right. They might knock someone off. They might make a little statement here. That'd be kind of cool for them because this is an improved football program, no doubt.
Yes, absolutely. And they're going in the right direction, which is good. At number 8, I have Baylor. You know, at the beginning of the year, I was high on Baylor. I am no longer high on Baylor. I watched that team against a bad Kansas State team, and Kansas State gave them the game. Now, don't get me wrong. They made plays. So I'm not saying they didn't make plays to get back in it and to win the football game. But Baylor's defense is horrific. And you're just not going to be able to compete at you're not going to be able to outscore everybody every week. I tried to give them a pass because the first time I saw them against SMU, I'm like, well, you know, SMU, it's at home. They got a good offense, but SMU's not great either. I've seen this defense is just not up to par. Their offense is excellent. It is. Their offensive line, we'll see. But that defense, yeah, Baylor's they're not going to be able to outscore everybody. They're at 8, Fitz.
They made the plays they needed to make to just get by.
Yeah.
That's honestly what happened. Kansas State's offense has been pretty mediocre. They outgained Baylor in this game. In fact, if you look at the stats, K-State won every key stat. The exceptions being the players made some more plays. The one turnover they got, touchdown. I mean, pick 6. And that was immediate points. Now, Baylor had turnovers in the red zone. They kept giving the ball back. Sawyer Robertson wasn't as sharp as he has been.
Nope.
We're sitting in the press box. We saw him just miss some wide open dudes.
2 wide open touchdowns that he didn't throw to the guys.
Yeah, wrong reads. They got by. But you know what? When you're the better team, you tend to win the close game.
You do.
There's a reason why you're losing close games. If you're not as good as your opponent. They know how to win. Baylor figured out how to win that game.
Yeah, they had more talent than K-State. They were better, but they needed K-State to hand it to them, and that happened.
Yeah.
At number 7, look, I got Iowa State. And it's starting to become abundantly clear to me that I gave them the benefit of the doubt, but you start looking at it, it's like, well, you played somebody that could match what you were doing physicality wise, and they took it to you. Now, I know the game got close. I totally because Iowa State's never going to quit, and Iowa State's not a bad football team. They're not. But they got it taken to them physically, and it just did not look good. Now, you can say, well, they were down. There's 2 starting corners. That's not what Cincinnati did. Cincinnati, at the beginning of this football game, they just decided they were going to run you over, and they did. So I don't know. We'll see. They got an opportunity. Again, power rankings, you can say, well, they lost to a good team. Okay, that's fine. But how did you look? Like, how did you look in this game? And I thought that Iowa State got helped a little bit by the refs, especially at the end of the first half. That was horrible. Oh, one of the worst pass interference calls that I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of bad ones. That was despicable. And it helped Iowa State get momentum, and then everything changed. But I don't know. We'll see. Iowa State's got an opportunity, Fitz, but it didn't look great when a team got physical with them that was able to. They didn't stand up. I didn't like that out of them. I need to see something more from Iowa State, but they're at 7 this week.
That first half was ugly. Iowa State, that first half was uglier than my nude portfolio. Nobody wants to see that. And we didn't want to see what you just did in the first half. How you came back was interesting, but wasn't good enough. Cincinnati, yeah, you proved something. That was not only a good performance, it was fun to watch. That first half, you were very good.
Yeah. So moving on at number 6, I got TCU. We talked about them earlier against Colorado. I thought that was their C game against Colorado. Josh Hoover was okay. I mean, he was good. He was better than okay. He was pretty good, but it was just their C game. They just, I don't know. I don't want to discredit Colorado too much, but I don't think Colorado is very good. And TCU, I think, is better. But we'll see in the next coming weeks as far as what TCU brings to the table. I got them at 6. They didn't really move for me because I don't think they did anything that says, hey, we should move up, move back. Here's where they are at number 6.
I agree. I mean, look, I think TCU has the makings of a really good team, but that was a very inconsistent performance. And again, yeah, you're right. Let's credit Colorado because they're trying. I'll say that they're out there putting it all in, and they've played with some pretty good teams for a half now, and they're just not good enough to sustain it. But TCU. I think this week's measurement will be very interesting for the Frogs. Going to Manhattan, a team that's struggling. I think TCU and Baylor are kind of comparable. We'll see how that shakes out.
Absolutely. At number 5, I've got Utah. Look, Utah, they're at 5. There will be some Utah fans that are going to be mad, thinking they should be higher. Some Utah fans kind of questioned me on who they've beaten other teams. I'll just say other teams. Who have they beaten? And my first thing back was, well, who have you beaten? And the answer is they didn't say anything back because the answer is nobody.
Yeah.
So you just base it off what you see. The only thing that I've seen of note, I saw Utah play some good football early, not against the best competition. I saw them just beat the brakes off of West Virginia, but that was after they got whipped by Texas Tech. So I loved how they bounced back. I think this Utah team is still really good. I do. But there's a separation at the tip top of this conference. They're not there as of this moment. But 5 is a good spot for Utah. It's not a bad spot.
Nope.
It's you've lost a game, okay, but this is where you are right now. Things can change. I'm not saying they will, but they can change, good or bad.
Yep.
But right now, I got Utah at 5. That's a good spot, Fitz.
No, I agree. They're close. I think they're pretty good, and I actually think the separation, the dividing line, and the upper crust might be 5 right now. I think we see a separation here. Utah and TCU lined up tomorrow on a different field than their home fields. Yeah, I'm going with Utah. I am. I think they're physical, and when you're physical, you win football games. But they still don't have that win that says, "Ooh, that's a win," and they'll get it. They'll find it.
They got an opportunity this weekend.
I sure do.
I can tell you that. They got a big opportunity this weekend. It's going to be a good one. But those are the next 6 there. Fairly close again, Fitz.
Yep.
Although the publishers still got Iowa State at 5. I don't know. They got Utah behind that. I'm giving them more of the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But again, as far as the Iowa State thing, the reason I have them at 7 is because you know how I am. Somebody that gets beat and how they get beat, you have to pay a price for that. And physicality, while we thought Iowa State had it, when Cincinnati said, well, here's some physicality for you, in the entire first, basically the whole game, they didn't show it. Iowa State didn't get back in the game because they were more physical. Now, I take that back. Their defense got more physical in the second half because for a long stretch, they shut down what Cincinnati was trying to do. But that's where I see it. We're pretty close, though, Fitz. We are pretty close.
Yep.
Again. So, and I think that kind of talks about where this league currently is right now. Moving on. Number 4, I've got BYU. I think it's a good spot for BYU. Again, BYU hasn't beaten anybody to write home about. They haven't done that, but they've looked really good. Their quarterback seems to be getting better each and every week. And I've said this over and over, their schedule sets up perfect fits for them to bring along a young quarterback. It's just, you get these opponents, you get into conference play with opponents that aren't as great. It is just set up perfect for them. Things will start to change in the next couple of weeks. I'll be interested to see, because they play Arizona this week. And again, it's on the road, and Arizona plays defense. So I'm really interested to see what they look like this week. This might be their first real challenge, but I got them at 4 right now.
Good measurement. This is going to be a good measurement for both Arizona and BYU. I think BYU, considering what they went through with the quarterback situation and how they recovered with a true freshman, that's impressive.
Yeah,
it really is impressive. And it's fun to watch them play. I think they're a pretty good team, but I got to be really honest. I am looking forward to the Holy War. Those two teams are pretty good. Heck, they're 4 and 5 in your rankings. That they're very tight, very close. We'll see what happens.
Man, look, I know I've said this before. That was my brother's favorite rivalry. God rest his soul. But as this channel has grown, and I understand rivalries. I totally understand. I grew up with several rivalries, so I get it. But as this channel has grown and people get more engaged, the hatred that they have for each other, first of all, I love it. I love every bit of it. But man, is it nasty. I mean, I knew it was, but Fitz, it's ugly. It is ugly. But hey, we encourage ugliness here on the Big 12 Insiders when it comes to rivalries. We absolutely encourage it. So keep it coming, people. Keep it coming.
Yeah. I've seen rivalries. I've been around rivalries. I thought I knew what a rivalry was. You need to have the metal detector set up when
It's
these two
different,
teams
man.
meet.
It's different.
You got to make sure nobody's bringing in anything.
I love it.
Because I'm serious. I feel like they could go full on Jets and Sharks at any moment. We got dancing and stabbing and punching, and man, it's a beautiful thing. I'm so happy these teams are in the Big 12. It's just great to be part of.
Absolutely. They do not like each other. And number 3, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, look here, Bearcat fans. You know, I willed you to this victory against Iowa State. I willed it to you. I told you that I thought Iowa State was better. I thought Iowa State was going to win. But who did I pick to win the game? The Cincinnati Bearcats. And lo and behold, your old buddy Big B, who we had love and hate last year. We had a lot of love and hate. And don't think I'm still not mad at you for losing that damn game to Nebraska. I'm still mad about that. But look where you are right now. That was a great game by the Bearcats. Now, granted, you got to keep going. That can't be your Super Bowl beating Iowa State at home. I understand that it was a big win, and it was maybe fits a program-changing win because the trajectory over the last couple of years with Scott Satterfield has not been going in the right direction. So maybe this is, okay, you know what? This is send you back the opposite direction, but the season's not over, but it is manageable. You look at the next couple, they got an opportunity there. Cincinnati's got a shot, people. They got a shot to get to Arlington. They do. They got to keep playing. But you look at their schedule. I'm looking at it right now. UCF, at Oklahoma State, Baylor. Those are the next 3. You got a chance before you go to Utah. Then Arizona at home against BYU, and then at TCU. So it's not going to be easy.
Oh,
but you've got an opportunity. You got an opportunity, man. And if they keep playing physical the way that they played against Iowa State, if they can continue that type of physicality, they're going to be in every single game that we perceive to be tough. Fitz. That's how you want to play football. If you're trying to win, physicality usually rules the day. That's how you do it.
Scott Satterfield, don't make me love you. I thought you were a phony, but if I'm wrong, I'm the phony. So, yeah, it was impressive. They didn't win. They look like a really good football team.
They do. They
just look well put together.
Their defense, you would like to see some more out of that. Don't get me wrong. You'd like to see their defense be better. But if it can get better, continue to get better as they go along, their offense is there. They've got this offense thing figured out. So I like what Cincinnati's doing. I got them at 3. At number 2, I have Arizona State. Gigantic game coming up this weekend. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't want to say it's going to separate the men from the boys, but it's going to be where Arizona State has played some decent competition. Utah's played one team that's been good, and they got the doors blown off of them. What now? I think it's going to be a great, great football game. But I still believe Arizona State is at the cream of the crop. They're near the top of this conference. Now, I'm not going to say they're at the top, but they're up there. I like this Arizona State football team.
I think they're well constructed. They have a defined identity. They play really hard for the coach, and they got a dude at quarterback. Those things add up, and I think this is a pretty good team.
Yeah, absolutely. I like what Arizona's doing, or excuse me, Arizona State. And last week, I think I made that mistake a couple times, and Arizona State fans are, come on, B, don't be mistaking us for Arizona. I apologize. It was done out of love. But number 1 is Texas Tech. Fitz, they're just better. They're talent-wise. If you just look at a football team and you see them, and maybe you could say, well, they haven't played the greatest schedule, and I think that'll hurt them in the college football playoff because they did not test themselves in the non-con. And you know how they are. They're going to say, well, the Big 12's not any good, so they didn't play the greatest competition. You already know that's coming. You already know that. But if you just look at them and you look at them play, and watch them play, you're like, okay, these guys are good football players. They have a lot of good football players. They have a lot of talent. The talent level is different. And before I let you go, Fitz, I know what some people may say in the comments that, well, it's comparable to Texas and Oklahoma. No. When Texas and Oklahoma, there were years when Oklahoma was just better than everybody. There really wasn't a whole lot of years where Texas was just better than everybody.
Yeah.
This Tech team is one of those, they're better than everybody. So I don't want people to say, oh, it's like when Texas and OU were in the conference. No, it's not, because those teams got beat. Now, I'm not saying Tech can't get beat. It's college football. Anything can happen on any given day. But you just look at them play football, they're just better. They're just better at basically all these positions than everybody else. And, well, it's the best team money can buy. SEC team's been doing it for years. Ohio State bought a national championship last year. It's the way the world works in college football. Just deal with it. It is what it is.
I love it.
Me too.
I love it because all of the powers that be, and we know how they were good. They had recruiting advantages and they had other advantages that they deny, but they know they were doing it. Now everyone can do it. Everyone can go buy a team. They went and bought a team. And let me tell you, just putting money out there and getting dudes isn't going to get it done. You got to pick the right dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And how will they fit together into a team? Because it's like a jigsaw puzzle, just picking pieces up along the way. They put it together.
Yeah.
They should be 12-0 at season's end, a bye in the playoff, and ready to roll. The Big 12 and college football needs Texas Tech to do some serious damage this year.
Yeah.
Needs to prove that the NIL and portal era didn't offer us the separation with the rich get richer. It means that you can move to the rich side of town because now you got money. It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they can stare at them and go, what are you doing here? You don't belong. But then if Tech can go out and beat them on the football field, they're going to earn that respect. College football, and particularly the Big 12, needs Tech to beat the crap out of some people in that playoff and get to that championship game. And yeah, it'd be incredible if they won it. I don't know if they have that in them right now, but they can realign college football with a postseason run.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, and don't get us wrong, people. We understand that there's a long way to go. There's half the season still had to go. So there's a long way before any of that can happen. But we're just looking at them from right now, and Tech they look like the best teams in the country. Like when you look at, okay, what do they have? Tech has everything that the supposed best teams in the country has. Tech has that. More importantly, defensive line. Not sure, maybe Miami, but they're in LSU. What other D lines are out there that are better? I'm sure somebody will come up with something, but I'm just saying the best teams in the country, you start looking at them and you look at rosters and you put it together. What do those teams have that Tech doesn't have? Not to mention, what do those teams have that's better or even as good as what Tech has? I think that's what people have to start talking about and understanding, is that Tech is on that level. Will they get there? Will they finish it off? That's the whole thing, is that so many Tech fans are like, yeah, don't say it, Big B, because, we've been real good. We've been close, and then it falls apart. And it might fall apart this year too. But as of today, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. So there's the Final Four. Tech, Arizona State. They got Cincinnati and BYU flipped, the publishers. So we're getting pretty close, Fitz. We're starting to get close.
What do you notice about that top five, Big B?
I don't know. What do I notice?
Texas Tech's number one.
Yeah.
Arizona State, newbie.
2.
Cincinnati, newbie. BYU, newbie. Utah, newbie. These additions to this conference, and it's not because the other schools are weak. Yeah, program like K-State is down. Oklahoma State's really down. but we're seeing how the additions really strengthen this conference, because I think they're better teams now than they were when they joined. I think that's certainly true for Arizona State. Maybe the Big 12 had nothing to do with that path, but it's true. Cincinnati now has risen back up to compete. BYU has adjusted and is competing. Utah, I think, is still getting a reset after a fiasco last year. But these new schools have brought a lot to the conference. And I'm going to say it again, Big B. I love this collection of 16 schools. We got your villains, we got your good guys, we got we got really good teams and really bad teams, but it's so volatile. Everyone has an opportunity at the start of the year.
Yes.
And that's fun. You don't go into a season knowing, well, those programs suck, they're never going to compete. Because that's what the Big Ten does. They got half a conference where they're like, yeah, they're not going to do anything.
Exactly.
That's not the way this conference is.
No.
I love it. This is a really, really competitive, entertaining football conference.
Yeah, it's good. There's competitive games each and every week. We haven't seen the big, crazy upset just yet. We haven't seen that like we saw last year. And to be honest with you, Fitz, I don't know that we're going to see that this year, because Oklahoma State, I mean, again, it's college football, but I don't anticipate them beating anybody. West Virginia, same boat, unless they play Oklahoma State. But I'm not sure how many more wins West Virginia and Colorado, the same thing. I'm just not sure that those guys are going to run off a whole bunch of more wins or upset somebody that's really good. But other than that, we could see some upsets. So I'm excited to see how this season finishes. Should be good. But thank you, everybody, again, as always, for being in here. We appreciate you. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.